The next thing that came up was like, who the blank are you to be coming at me, saying something nice, and then just brushing it off like, oh, you took a shot. And hi, I'm Jen.
And I'm Suzanne.
Today we are talking about compliments that might not be compliments at all.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a little story. I recently ran into a friend and she was like, oh my God, you look so good. And I was like, oh, thanks. And then she's like, is it Ozempic? And I immediately had so many emotions. First, I had shame because we'll get into my weight loss journey or health journey or whatever we want to call it, because I did try Ozempic. And I feel like there's a lot of shame around Ozempic, or at least for me, I had a lot of shame come up. Like, I did use Ozempic. Like somehow it took away from my accomplishment. And then the next thing that came up was like, who the blank are you to be coming at me, saying something nice, and then just brushing it off like, oh, you took a shot and now you lost a bunch of weight.
Yeah.
So I had a lot of emotions about it.
Yeah.
And the backstory is, for the listener, I have been on a health journey for probably, I would say you and my best friends would say, my entire life. Like, yeah. I'm always the biohacker of the group. I'm the one that, as my one friend said, I've been carrying around water since before it was cool. And
I love that.
You know who you are. So I've always cared about my health. I've always, struggled with it. And I've always tried to work out, and I've always tried to be consistent in what I eat. And I've tried all the fad diets, and I've done all the things. And I never really wanted to do a diet. I just wanted to figure out like why, ever since I was younger, I just always kept putting on weight. No matter what I did, I put on weight. And then when I had the kids, it was like the wheels fell off. And I just thought, well, when I'm done, when you're done postpartum, you just kind of get back into your old routine. And you think that like naturally everything's going to go back to the way it was before. And it didn't. So fast forward the last 5 years, since our parents have had a ton of metabolic stuff and just a lot of chronic illness, I've been hyper focused on it because it just wasn't about like vanity or looking good or feeling good. It was about really focusing on making sure that I don't get all these chronic diseases and doing what I can now. So I knew I needed to figure it out. So I have done literally everything, monitoring my blood sugars, going and seeing different doctors, like just trying to figure out what's going on. And I finally found a functional nutritionist, and she helped me. But as part of it, I took 500 million tests. I mean, I had to spit and stuff. I had to wipe places we don't want to talk about. I had to do crazy blood tests. I had to do a sleep test. I'm trying to think of all the other wild things. I monitored my blood sugars like 24/7, like I was diabetic. And part of that is she's like, hey, we're going to start you on Ozempic. Are you cool with that? And she explained to me like why she was going to do it. And I was like, yeah, this is going to be great. And everyone I knew was having like all these really great responses. And I got on Ozempic and lost literally nothing.
Oh, I
in
remember.
4 months, I think I lost, I know you know this story. I think I lost like 5 pounds, but she was like, honestly, that's just from doing what you've been doing. Like that's a pound a month. So.
Well, I'd like to point out too that you had like quit drinking. You had been working out 24/7. Like you were doing all of the things. You were working on your mental
on my
health.
Sleep, had an Aura ring. Like
yes.
Worked on my mental health. Like,
yes.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Y'all, I have been doing all the things for such a long time. So I think taking a deep breath, because when I remove all of those emotions and those experiences, Like, I understand that there are people, and I know people personally, who literally changed nothing, took the, Ozempic, trizepatide, whatever, compound, blah, 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 and lost weight. And they're like, this is great. I didn't change one thing, and I've lost, 30 pounds, 40 pounds, whatever. I am not poo-pooing you. Good for you. I'm excited for you. But when this person said to me, you look great, and I just wanted to say thanks, she then went on to basically like dismiss it. Like, so it wasn't really a compliment. It was like, you look great because you took a shot. That's what I heard. And then the rage came up because of all my experiences. And I literally wanted to be like, who are you to say this to me? And you have no idea what I've been through. And the Ozempic did not work. And this is from like a million other things that you have no idea. But it's like, we don't get into that, right?
Of course.
Breathing. So I just have been slowly unpacking that. And then I was really thinking about, like, did it even really deserve a reaction?
Yeah.
Like, I just said thanks. And I was like, I don't even remember if I said I did take Ozempic or didn't. It makes me feel weird to lie. So I probably was like, yeah, I did that too. I think I said, yeah, I did that too. I think I said it just like flippantly, like, yeah, I did that too. And she, went on. And so part of it is I realized that I don't just realize this now. I realize this all the time. Most of the things that people say have nothing to do with you and everything to do with them. And this person is fit and thin and all the things. I don't know about how their actual health is, but like physically, they look great. So I don't know if it's like maybe she has a thing where like she doesn't use Ozempic and looks great, and it annoys her that other people do use those, because she works hard to do what she does.
Sure.
I don't know if it's, and I don't feel like it was mean-spirited. Like, I don't think she even knows that I've had,
45 conversations after it. All the self-thought.
She probably would not even know that she's this person on this podcast if she listened to it, because she's not mean-spirited. She didn't mean, like, I know all these things, but it doesn't change the fact that, like, it's kind of like when you say, I'm sorry, but, and then you justify it. Like, you're not really sorry.
It's a qualifier.
And you're not really sorry. Because if you're really sorry, you say, I'm sorry for X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
And in the future, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z, or, however you apologize. And so it felt, I guess, the only word I keep coming up with is dismissive.
Yeah.
But I realized that, like, two things can be true at once. She can actually think I look great. And she can actually be feeling like a little bit judgy that she thinks I, quote unquote, took the easy way out, or whatever people are saying these days.
Yeah. So here's my question.
I don't know. What are your, let's unpack this with Suzanne. Give me your question.
Because I feel like I can still feel and hear your frustration and even telling the story. So on the one hand, you're saying two things can be true, like the logic of that.
Right.
But your emotion and the way you're telling the story, I can still feel your frustration. So what do you think that frustration is still about?
My story.
How so?
Just all the stuff that I've been through to get to the point to like look good and still know that like I still have probably 10 or 15 pounds of just inflammation from like other levels of health I need to unlock. Frustration because I know other people don't struggle as much as I do, and it makes me bitter. Yeah, I think my frustration is, if I'm sitting here thinking about it, is just that it made me feel like my journey was summed up to a shot. Instead of like these insane highs and lows and trials and tribulation and just like desperation and actually doing things, not just saying I'm like, I'm going to try keto for a week and I didn't lose any weight, right? Like really committing to things and like spending so much time, so much energy, and so much money trying to find out what the answer is. Or like I used to say to you all the time, like, I feel like I found another puzzle piece, but like, it's not the thing.
Yeah.
It's still not the thing.
But I guess then my question would be, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. No, I was going to say, so it's about it's about my story.
Well, and I think so that's the question is she someone that you really would want to know your whole story?
No.
Like, is she someone that you actually care for her to know, like, the truth of what you've been through?
No, absolutely not.
Yeah. So why do you think it's still, as you're sitting here, bothering you? Like, do you still think that you're upset about your journey, that you're upset that you've had to do more, that you just like that you're resisting that you're still on this journey? And because in a way, are you kind of cross-judging her because you're like, oh, she's fit and I don't know what, I don't know what she's doing or what her health is or
yeah, sure. Yeah, no, I'm 100% yes.
So how do you think, yes, right? So how do you think you can show up? So if this is, so it's because it's going to come up, right? Hey, people, this is why we're putting it all out there because we all do it. And girl, if you're saying you don't do it, you be lying. All right. We're all working on ourselves. And the point is we don't want to show up that way, right?
Anger.
Yes, yeah, we don't want to show up that way. And that's when we have that like anger. Then all of a sudden we're like, oh, well, wait, no, that actually was misdirected.
Alert, resentment. Yeah.
So I guess my question would be, the power of these conversations is also like, how do you want to show up the next time? Because it's going to continue to come up. And especially the more you continue on your health journey. And
and so it's people that haven't seen me in a while and don't know, like, as you would say, don't know my story, don't know what's been going on.
Yeah.
I think I just need to not take things so personal. And I think that my health journey, I think now that you're just saying all this, is that a lot of my stuff I've been through, I don't take personal, but my health journey, I guess I obviously still take personal. Hello, light bulb. So because I take it personal, I'm taking her compliment and her discompliment, making up words again, personal, instead of it just being what it was. Like, just take it as you look great. And then I know walking away, like, no, it wasn't the Ozempic, but like, whatever. Like, does it matter what she believes? Right? Does it matter?
Yeah.
It doesn't even matter what I say because I hear women talking at other tables. Like when you're at lunch, you hear them being all catty.
Oh, yeah.
And you hear them talking smack. Like,
oh, yeah.
Oh, she took Ozempic and she says she didn't take Ozempic.
So
who cares?
This is my question. So you're saying all those things, which I think are all the right things.
Yeah.
But how do you show up differently? And I think sometimes the way I've learned about you, the best way to help you is for you to tell me, if you were giving me advice about it happening to me, what would you tell me?
Every time, right? I'm like, how would you talk to your kids about that? How would you talk to your friend? Oh, I hate when my own stuff comes back at me. I would tell you it's not about you.
Yeah.
Everything they're saying has nothing to do with you. Even the compliment, quite frankly.
Yeah.
So I guess I would just be like, I've told you a million times, what's your catchphrase you're going to say, or what's the thing you're going to say? And I'm just going to be like, thanks. And if they ask, if they're point blank, like, oh, did you do a whatever, GLP-1? I forget what it's called.
Yeah.
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 Does it matter?
But what meaning are you giving it? I think that's going to be the question, right? Like, just like we've talked about on prior episodes when we were talking about the dentist and the x-ray.
Yeah.
In this question, it's what meaning are you attributing? Like, even if she said, did you do Ozempic? Like, you're attributing meaning that that's a bad thing because we're hearing all the people talking and things like that, right? Or that it's not part of your full journey.
That was the shame part, right?
Yeah.
Like the shame part because and then the anger part. So there's kind of like two, like there's shame doing it the quote unquote easy way. And then there's the anger because I wish it worked
no easy way.
Let me be very clear, for anyone who it worked that well, I am like here for it.
Yeah.
Good for you. I think because I always say like authentically, how would you authentically feel good answering the question? And I do think that in the moment I answered it authentically, but I wasn't in the right headspace. So I think I would say the same thing. Like, that amongst all the other things, like just
because it's the truth, right?
Because that's
you go back
true,
to the fact,
right?
Yep.
Yeah. And I feel like that helps me, justify is not the right word, but kind of tell the story without having to dive deep into the story. And then if someone asks a qualifying question, it's like, I'm not going to go down, like you said, like, I'm not going to go down the list of all the things I've done for the last however many years. But if they ask, I can say, yeah, I saw, a functional medicine doctor, and we had to figure out a bunch of things. And that was definitely one of the puzzle pieces, and just leave it at that, because I do believe it was.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And then I feel so, as you would say, I feel so detached from it. Like, I don't feel anything rising when I said that.
Good. And I think, what's so important in figuring these things out is you get to be calmer the next time, and you get to be authentic.
Yeah.
And I think that's such a neat part of this process, is you're removing something that, again, sends you into spiral. And even if it doesn't happen the first time, like, we'll say these sometimes and we'll have a catchphrase, and it doesn't necessarily happen right away.
Right.
Or maybe like it'll happen and I'll be like, dang it, why did I get mad again? But it's like you get better and better and better at it. And then you feel better.
And faster and faster to recover. Like, for us, it's like the recovery of the nervous system. How quickly did you get back in sync with, like, reality?
Yeah. Yeah. And reminding yourself, I think, that two things can be true at once. And that of the factual nature of that. So if you have your kind of canned response, you've really analyzed those thoughts coming up in your head, and then you move on, just like you did. And so I would ask the listener, when was the last time someone gave you a compliment with a little qualifier? And how did you feel about it? So, all right. Well, that's it for today.
We hope you discovered something in my very vulnerable story today.
We'll see you next time. Same place, same sisterhood. Bye.
Bye.